For years, we were told tape was dead. But today, rising energy costs, cloud egress fees, and security risks are forcing a rethink. 80% of data isn't being used, yet it's still costing money. Now, with air gap security and massive capacity, tape isn't coming back quietly. It's becoming strategic again. Let's dive into the conversation.
Hi, I'm Ray Quattramini from Fortuna Data. Welcome to another edition of Smarter Strategic Thinking. Today we have Doug Williams from Qualstar.
Hi.
Hi Doug.
Nice to meet you.
And you too. Let's kick off. How long have you been in the IT industry and why did you join it?
Originally, money, 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah. 85.
1985.
Profit selling. Before that, engineer.
What did you sell in IT, the first thing you sold?
Basically, protocol converters.
Okay.
Party IBM 5250 screens and printers, going on instead of arm and leg IBM big line printers costing God knows how much money. So back then, 85, 86 was the leasing days.
What's your greatest sales achievement to date?
The most recent one is that with scale computing, took 42 casinos away from VMware and put a scale computing hyperconverged infrastructure in each one of the casinos, and we won the Infrastructure of the Year award for that.
When did you join Qualstar and what's your job role?
I joined in May this year. My role primarily is UK Ireland, but as of quite recently, my director said that he had an opportunity for me in St. Lucia, and I went, well, that's in the Caribbean. It's near you guys. And he looked it up and went, no, it's closer to UK than it is to California.
Wow.
So now I've got the Caribbean and basically anything outside of the US, except for the DAC region.
For those that are watching this podcast and don't know who Qualstar are, do you want to explain a little bit about the background and what you do?
Sure. So Qualstar has been in existence for 42 years. Manufacturing tape libraries right from then, actually. So, using AIT, DLT, but now, Qualstar is LTO. We just stay with LTO IBM drives.
Right.
Fully stopped. So my role is channel, alliance, and RSM. So encompassing the whole region of promoting the product, getting distribution sorted out, and bringing partners on board and working with alliances.
We've both been in the tape industry a very long time, and during those decades, there's been a lot of talk about tape's dying. What's your take on that today?
Well, I think I started that also with Unitrends. Tape is dead, moving to backup products. But the resurgence on tape now, and it is accelerating, is mainly, I think, down to 1, energy costs, 2, the costs of cloud providers. If you look at an infrastructure, 80% of that data sitting on spinning disks are not used. So why keep it on spinning disks, put it out to was previously the cloud, but now people are going, well, the expense of ingest and ingress is so high, I'm going to look back at going back to tape.
Yes.
The energy cost, as I said, is low. You only use energy when it goes and picks up the tape and puts it in the drive. Meanwhile, that's it. And also, you've got that air gap, so you've got your security.
Yeah.
So you can't hack it in any way.
Yeah.
So, if you look at certain organisations recently, their data's out in the cloud, which is accessible. Did they have tape libraries? Well, I've been told no.
Yeah.
So they left themselves wide open.
Yeah.
And the capacity's gone up. So
yeah, which brings me on to my next question about LTO 10. Obviously, that was launched 5 months ago now, probably 6 months ago. What's your thoughts about LTO10 and its uptake in the market, and what do you think the major drivers are, and also the major roadblocks to adopting that technology?
Right, let's go with the drivers first. One is capacity. Yeah, the standard cartridge is 30 terabytes. You have the enterprise version, which is basically Excel, is 40 terabytes.
That's native, is it?
That's native. Yeah. That's native capacity. Compare that with the LTO9, which is 18 terabytes. So there is, yeah, if you go with extended cartridge, yeah, you get double the capacity. That is a plus. I would say the negative side is at the moment it's only a full height drive, so only certain libraries it will go into, like our competitors with the i3 and the i6 and Raptor, they're full height drives anyway. With us, we can mix full height and half height drives in a library, which is being a bit more flexibility. Now, the other disadvantage on the LTO10 is it's not backward compatible.
Yeah.
So if you've got LTO9, it won't read it. It won't read any of the others. And that is basically because LTO's linear tape how it works is that it's in a straight line. With the LTO10, to get the capacity, they've angled the head. So that's why it can't be backward compatible.
Right.
The take-up on LTO10 has been extremely slow. It did not help that IBM had a ROHAS incompatibility. It wasn't compliant, so they had to go back to the drawing board and redo the LTO10 to make it ROHAS compliant. And half height is not going to be out to possibly this time next year, if, in my opinion, if it ever does come out, because they can't compact it down.
Yeah, and you know, Qualstar themselves, you can mix media tapes, can't you? So you can have LTO10, LTO9, LTO8.
Yeah,
so all in the same line.
We have an opportunity at the moment, and if we go back to the LTO technology, LTO7 is now end of life. So if customers have got LTO 5s and 6s, LTO 7's the only one who can read them. Right. LTO 8 and 9 can't, because there's only one version back. So we actually have opportunities where we're putting LTO 9s or even LTO 10s with an LTO 7 in the tape library. So they can gradually migrate those older ones onto 7, and once that's done, swap out the LTO 7 and put an LTO 8 in, so they can completely keep going on and on and on. And in future, going forward, they've got LTO 10s or 9s.
Yeah. Where do you see the biggest growth for tape today? Because once upon a time, tape was very much the backup device, wasn't it? Everyone was buying tape for backup, but that market seems to have faded. So where do you see the next?
It's archiving. Yeah. So with all that data which is not being used, it's got to go somewhere. With the surge in AI, people want to get to their data, and I would say the likes of the cloud providers are rubbing their hands, saying, "Well, we've got your data. If you want it back, it's going to cost you." So we're seeing a surge on archiving in-house rather than putting it out to the cloud. Yeah, we're working with some unique partners on archiving. Some of them, and we've got the Q1000 Plus. We're just waiting for the final, I would say, SKUs and work out the costs. So that is a library with 1,115 slots, which can then be daisy chained, each one. And you will need archiving software for that. And we're seeing an uptake on MSPs. Because they're saying, "Oh, let's copy what Amazon are doing." Amazon's got Glacier. What is that? Oh, sorry, but it's a tape library. So yeah, they're saying, well, why don't we do this? Archive as a service or storage as a service. So we're seeing uptakes on that. Recently, we've had one data center organization with several hundred data centers are saying, yeah, we need to have tape.
Wow. Well, it is, as you say, it's a massive advantage for energy consumption alone, isn't it?
Yeah.
And speed of recovery.
Well, yeah. And if you look at the LTO9 and the LTO10, it's 400 megabytes per second transfer rate, each drives. Unfortunately, they can't go faster because the tape snaps.
Yeah.
So in the future, I think you're going to be at 400 unless they have a major change in how they get speed it up.
Obviously, you make a range of tape libraries. What's the smallest and what's the largest, and roughly how many drives can you get in each?
Okay, so the smallest is a QI, which is a desktop, SAS only. We are looking to Ethernet attach a desktop, or even USB, or Thunderbolt. At the moment, you can do that with an Atto bridge. So that's the smallest. On the libraries, it's the Q8, which is 8 slots, a single drive, half-height drive. We've got the Q24, which is 2U, 24 slots, 2 drives, half-height. We're just waiting for the confirmation of Gen 2 on the Q24, which will take a full-height drive.
So that means LTO10.
Yes. Yeah, we're just waiting for the confirmation on that. Then you jump to the Q40. I think the numbering system tells you what it is. So it's a 40-slot library, but you can actually add further 40 slots. Each one has 4 drives, or 2 LTO2 10s on the Q40. Oh, sorry, 1 LTO10 on the Q40. And you can put half-height drives in the empty slots. And that will go to 640 slots. Then the Q80, 80 slots, which gives you 2 LTO full-height drives and 2 half-height drives in each one. And that goes up to 580 slots.
Right.
Finally, the Q1000 Plus, 1,115 slots per cabinet.
What makes Qualstar unique versus the other tape vendors out there? What's your unique selling point?
So we're flexible. We understand what the client needs. We don't pigeonhole. We only do this drive or do this amount of slots, or we don't charge for enabling slots. Like some manufacturers, you only have 25 media slots available, and if you want another 25, you've got to buy it, or another 50 or whatever. If you take a full rack of Q40 with 640 slots, you get 640 slots from day one. Right. We don't charge any difference. Okay. Also, we are small enough. We're not a vast organisation. It's lean. We're cash rich. There's money in the bank, and if you phone up support, you actually speak to a human, not a bot. So flexible, and most importantly, stock.
And the other thing that you also provide is you provide, as standard, 3 years support, don't you?
As standard, 3 years support on the library and drives, whatever's in there, and that can be extended to 5 to 7 years.
And it can be upgraded to on-site.
On-site is covered by StoreTrek. So the customer phones us, we find out what the fault is on remotely, and then if it needs a drive or maybe a part of the library, because it's all field replacement units, very, very easy. That's why we don't actually have too many people on site maintenance. Because it's just thumb screws and pull it out and plug the new one in. But if we got a on-site support, they phone Qualstar. We work out what the fault is. We send a part next day or that day to arrive next day, and then we informed store trek to go in and fix it.
And from an ISV perspective, what backup and archiving software do you typically support?
I would say 99% of the ISVs.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we look at the Q1000 Plus, which is S3 to tape, the top ISVs in that market would be used in conjunction with the 1000 Plus.
Yeah.
And if you go down smaller, you've got people like the smaller ISVs specialising in archiving and
Yeah.
etc. And that's across the board for M&E and also industries.
And how do you see, LTO's been here, since 95? Was it 95, 96? Something like that. And every 2 or 3 years, they've launched an iteration of the device, and currently we're now on LTO 10 in 2025. Where do you think we'll be in the next 5 years?
Tricky question. 2. If we stick with the LTO, it'll go to LTO 11. Yeah, they'll increase the capacity. If they can get around the data transfer speed, they will. But I would say 5 years, maybe even longer before an LTO 11 comes out.
Right.
There is other manufacturers out there who produced a prototype which currently fits in an LTO 10, an LTO case, and yes, it's a desktop version at the moment, quite a large desktop version. It uses lasers and it's holographic, and so far they predict they can actually get 300 terabytes on a LTO 10 LTO cartridge.
Right. LTO type cartridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It'll be a half-inch cartridge.
So in your opinion, then, tape's still going to be around, it's still going to be used. With the increasingly bad situation we've got with the storage drought that's going on, and it's only going to accelerate over the next 18 months, 2 years, where people watching this video aren't going to be able to buy their storage, or they're going to pay massively inflated prices. So, do you see the tape a better take up of tape?
Most definitely. Yeah. Before, I would say LTO 9s and now the LTO 10, the capacity wasn't there, so it was expensive.
Yeah.
Now, 40 terabytes per tape, and if you're talking hundreds of petabytes in the larger systems,
and in a relatively small footprint.
Yeah,
as well.
19-inch rack, or with the 1000, I think it's a 21-inch rack, slightly bigger.
The uses for tape, are they going to be online, nearline, offline? Where do you...
I would not recommend online because you could get hacked. Nearline gives you that bit more security and access to your data, but definitely it'll be cold storage offline. If it needs to be accessed, it'll be accessed by the software.
And are you seeing people looking at this video considering tape as an air gap solution from ransomware attacks?
Definitely. That is the biggest selling point. Right. Yeah, it can't be hacked. Yeah, that's your air gap. And if you've, the data go on the tape can be encrypted as well. So there's encryption within the ISVs and even with the tape drive. So yeah, most definitely air gap is the way to go.
Brilliant. Right, Doug. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and thanks for coming in today.
That's okay.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Take care. Thank you.